If only we would truly listen to C.S. Lewis's truism, someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. Then perhaps we would realize that the imagination that we accessed to invent our tale is the same imagination we'll need to reinvent ourselves. That all we have to do to add more than to once upon a time or ... after happily ever after is just close our eyes, right? And let our imagination rescind the ending, reinvent a beginning, re-envision a new printing that commences a 10th inning. And when you open your eyes, you'll find those same skeptics stuck in the prison of your past tense memories and not your future tense vision. And they will listen quite laughably at your imagination's capacity and rebuke your audacity. And they will scream out, "Blasphemy!" But we just ignore them. They are simply here to remind us of the moral. Like the story of the teacher who asks her student, "How do you spell crocodile?" And the student says, "Krokodil." And when the teacher responds, "No, that's wrong," the student says, "Well, maybe that's not correct, but you asked me how I spell it." And so I ask you, how do you spell sequel? It's simple, right? You start by remembering the plot of the prequel. You remember saying, okay, there's got to be a way to connect and empower the individual online. And when they responded, "No, that's wrong. Oh, but you believed in the better angels of man." And they responded, "No, that's wrong. But you had faith in the power of community." And they responded, "No, that's wrong." And you imagined a magical way for people to trade, for calls to be made, for cash to be paid. And when they said, "No, that's wrong," you said, "Maybe it is, but it's how I would spell it." A global community of hundreds of million good people. It's how I would write it. $60 billion worth of goods bought and sold is how I would make it. $150 million in charitable donations. It's how I, unprecedented financial growth. It's how I, 15,000 employees worldwide. It's how I would do it. And if I had the chance, I would do it again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the chance to get back in touch with that naive imagination that gave birth to your penchant for innovation. And remember why a story is always so much cooler when told by a child. For they don't just tell a story. No, they magic a story. Right? There's never a solo reading, but a group seance. And they don't just share stories with listeners. Oh, no, sir. You will not just get to listen today. You will cast off your security blanket and participate. You will be touched, and not just figuratively. You will be moved and not merely emotionally. You will find, Ernia, that your name will become part of the story. And you will be asked to answer questions in the story. Is that okay with you, Ernia? And you will respond. And if perchance the story should rhyme, you might find yourself finishing my next line. Oh, you guys are good. We're going to take it to the next level. And when the fairies and gnomes and dwarves abound and dance, extend out their hand and ask you to dance, you will dance. Get down, girl. Get down with it. Yes. Because this is not my story. Have a seat. You are lovely. Thank you. The fairies, thank you. This is not my story, and it certainly does not belong to them. This is our collective story, and you guys are keeper of the pen. You can turn to the end, add 2 dots to extend the period and triplicate until conclusion becomes ellipsis that puts you in line with the greatest comebacks of all time. This is Cinderella Part 2. Hansel and Gretel ride again. Snow White, the return. Rapunzel, the revenge. This is Tina Turner holding signed divorce papers and a record deal. Huh? Britney Spears back in the studio with a hair weave and long